Hi everyone, today I'm giving you an update on what we've been doing with the currency pairs and how they're looking in our very initial alpha stages. So to jump to the end of the systems first, what we've got is this result. So this is only 3 systems. So to give you an idea, currently we're running about 10 systems on the indexes, and this is just 3 of them. So as you can see, the line is getting flat, but remember, this is alpha, so this is just our initial experimentations to find out what we can discover with currencies. So we're only running these for a couple of hours on one of our mid strength computers, not our big computers. So that's what we've found. The holdout period is from this point onwards. So it's from 2019 through to the current day, and as you can see with the best fit line, that in general it's about the same. Like there's a bit of a flat period in here, which we can see from the holdout. So we're not really happy about that, and there's actually a bit of a down period in lots of the charts in here. So this is a long three long systems. So as you can imagine, they're not going particularly well in the short markets. We don't know whether we need to improve them in those short markets or whether in a portfolio, the short part of the portfolio will pick up in this section. I mean, these are all things. This is why it's alpha, because we're still figuring all this out. But in general, we're seeing a line in this period in here that's the holdout period, very similar to what we've seen before. We've got some periods of flat in here and then some solid rises. So yeah, it's looking quite promising. And then, like we were saying, it's experimentation. So one of the experiments we did was do like a ridiculously long holdout period. So in this one, we used data from like 2003 and built it through to 2010. And then made 2010 all the way through to now, our holdout period. So we had a very long time ago development, and then in the current holdout period, we did a massive 12 years just to see if we could and to see what would happen. And I mean, it's still going up. Like there's periods in here where it's not particularly crash hot, but the point remains that if we're using just a very small amount of development time in here, and then running it on an exceptionally long remainder, then that's not going too badly. So yeah, that bodes well for when we actually get down to the nitty gritty and start finding the best systems we can. This is another 12-year one. So as you can see, that's the holdout period in there. At the beginning here, it hasn't gone crash hot, but over the course of time, it's gone up. It's got some flat periods here. But again, like we're not going to be using 12 years holdout. We'll go back to our usual sort of 4 or 5 year holdout at the end of the training data. But this was just to see how far we could squeeze in the development into a short amount of time and have a big holdout. So in this example, our holdout period is twice as long as our development period, and that's just like a crazy thing. You couldn't expect that to really work, but and while we wouldn't put this live by any means, you can see that it is actually going up, which is a good thing. So and back to sort of a more sensible holdout period. Once it's on the guppy, we find that in this period that of holdout, that it's pretty much being the same. I mean, we do have in here right at the beginning of the holdout the longest stagnation period, but in general it's looking very similar. And again, these aren't final systems, they're just testing to see what we can get. So the 3 systems that we found and put them into portfolio, this is the US JPY, and the holdout period is this period up here. So we're seeing again a relatively similar performance where we've got sort of these downward dips and flat parts. and we see them in here as well, followed by these sort of strong upward periods after them, and we're seeing the same thing, downwards, upwards, downwards, upwards. So yeah, we're finding nice consistent systems. So when we put on our better indicators and run it on a better machine for longer, hopefully we find even better systems than that. So this is the guppy. Where's our holdout period? In here. So again, we're seeing sort of a similar thing where it's sort of going along and up and down with some jumps of some big movements. So we see sort of jumps of big movements happening all the way through it. So yeah, it's looking similar. I mean, all these stagnation periods are too long for what we'd like to see, but it's just the alpha. This is the Aussie. So a similar thing, it's kind of flat with some jumps up. But in our holdout period in here, we're seeing the same sort of behavior as what we see before. And that's what we want, because that's showing that all our filters are working. So if we can get better indicators and use and explore more of them through the mining of the systems, we should find better systems, but they should match this criteria, because this is testing the criteria more than the actual quality. So as we run our better computers on them, the thread rippers rather than just the i5s and the i7s, and run the more heavily intensive indicators for longer periods of time, the systems should get better. What this test is doing is just proving that we've got the criteria set that's finding consistent systems, because then if we can find consistent systems, then we just need to find better consistent systems. So that will be our goal when we run it properly. But that just gives you an idea of what we're looking at the moment. So when these come out, any subscribers at the time will get both the indexes that they're currently getting plus these new currency pairs. At some point in the sort of near future, we'll split them off, so they'll become two products. One will be indexes and one will be currencies. So if you join before that happens, then you'll get all of them in the one package for as long as you maintain your subscription. So as always, we like to look after the people that trust us and purchase earlier in our development cycle. So yes, if you're excited about the results that we've currently got and the results that the current trading is getting in the indexes, and you're looking at this and thinking that that's a good update, then by all means jump in and become a subscriber now, because you lock in all these extra systems and extra, hopefully, green pips for the life of your subscription, and you'll thank yourself later. So if you haven't, like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff, so that as we keep pumping out these videos, you get to see them. And until next time, hopefully the markets are good to you, and we'll see you then. Bye.